I'm about to meet myself. I'm about to meet who I really am.
That's good, sir.
I think what's interesting about when we get on these courses with God, and we well, first course, salvation and sanctification, but as He begins to show us who we're called to be and what we're called to do and who we're called to reach, He'll start assigning us to classes, so to speak, or courses, and saying, I know you got to serve. You're gonna have to serve people in countries where there's no water, and so let me put you on this course where you learn how to humble yourself and be grateful for what you have. Let you go through that course. You know, some of us have gone through things like eviction. Some of us knows that it means temporarily, maybe, what it means to live without water. Some of us have been homeless. Some of us have not had. Some of us have gone through a lot of stuff. Some of us knows what it means to be on subsidies, and then you'll go to another country and realize that what you were getting from a subsidy, what you were getting from food stamps, there's countries that don't even have that set up. And so we may walk around in our country feeling bad about something that in someone else's country they would rejoice over. You'll realize that as He puts you on courses, He'll show you you're ungrateful. He'll sometimes show you in that course that, listen, look how much stuff you take for granted. So we'll start putting you in these classes saying you're going to be a prophet to nations. So let me let your father and mother put you in a school that has a whole lot of people from a lot of different countries in it. Let you get used to how to navigate through hues and languages. And so He puts us in these classes. Some of us, we were in class before we even got saved and didn't even know it. Before we even came to the Lord, He was putting us in His system to say, I got to teach you this. I got to teach you how to be more kind. I got to teach you. We didn't realize it. This is why I gave you your grandmother. This is why I let you have that, gave you this family. Some of us have gone through some challenging stuff in life, and the truth of the matter is that they're our family now, that we can't get rid of them. Whether they little or whether they little we can't get rid of them. They're ours to keep, and God allowed for us to be mothered, fathered, brothered, sister, cousin, whatever, by those people. And so even if you didn't grow up in the most excellent situation or the most excellent place, this is what I lean into, is that He that begun a good work in me, right? You always hear me say, has the capacity, has the ability, has the power, has it to be able to get me to the end. Another scripture that we can look at no matter what we've come from is this one that says, to those that love the Lord, that are called according to His purpose, listen, it will work out. It's going to work out for your good. So I don't care how crummy things have been in your life. I don't care how crazy your family is. God has a purpose for your life. He does. Yes, He really does. It doesn't always feel that way. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes we go through things in life, and I'm going to get to the text in a second, but I feel right now that there's somebody that needs me to pause and right here and say, Pastor Jason, I know what it feels like to be rejected. Well, there's a guy that's named David, whose family didn't even think about him when God came passing by. When God came to speak a word and wanted to choose a king, and God wanted to anoint somebody, his family didn't even recount that they didn't even think about him. He wasn't even a thought. And to the point that the prophet had to even say, like, you got to have another son. I know God told me to come to your house. Wow. It took the prophet to say, I know I ain't off. I know they got it. Y'all got somebody under the stairs. Where they at? Because I know God told me to come to Jesse's house. And they were like, oh, well, there is David in the back, but you can't possibly want David.
That's good.
You can't possibly want David. You can't want the smelly one.
Wow.
Look, I'm cute. You can't want the smelly one. I cleaned up and I got muscles. You want little David?
Wow.
Little scrawny David? You sure, prophet? I got 3 sons that are 6 feet tall. I got 2 others that are 6'9". Look at them. They look good. One name is Eldris. One name is Corjo. One name is Amari. I got all these. So you don't want them? You sure you don't want them? You want Urkel? You want David? He wasn't even looked upon as being a candidate. Isn't it great that God sees past what people see about us? Man, Isn't it great that God has the ability to look into our future and be able to speak to our now and be able to say, I'm calling you. God, I have this issue. I have that. I'm calling you. That isn't. God doesn't choose people based upon how good they are.
Say that, sir.
Even how bad they are. God doesn't. That's not how God does his selection. He chooses based upon who I want to use. It's about who he wants. Like, that's what it comes down to. I choose you, Noah, because I want you and I like you. Yeah. So we're going to go to Luke, and then we're going to go to our text, because we're going to find ourselves, all right? We're going to find ourselves. Luke chapter 15, verses 11. And we're going to jump around. We won't read all. We'll start at verse 11. I hope that you're hearing me well. I hope that you can hear the Lord talking to you already. Luke chapter 15. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I'm about to meet myself.
So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs.
This is Luke 15,
Yeah.
verse 11.
Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate.
So we watch this immature one have a craving for something that they've never seen, they want to experience stuff. Anybody ever been in your life? Like, I just want to live. I just want to.
Yes.
I want to do me.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag I want to do me. Do you self to turn up? Yeah. He wants to turn up. He wants to get lit. I know that, Dad, you said that I got a trust fund. And Dad, I know there's about $2 million in the trust fund. And I just want to go live right life. I just want to go buy. He thinks he can live life over the Bible doesn't say he had $2 million. I'm just using this as so you can see it. He feels that let's give him more money than that. Let's give him $20 million. He thinks his $20 million is going to do all that he needs to do for the rest of his life, but he wants to go live his life. He's young. He's immature. He doesn't know, but he has a crave to learn, crave to see, crave to learn. Let's keep going.
So he divided his property between them.
Yes.
Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country.
Let's pause for 1 second. There's a version in the Message version. It says this. It says the son packed his bags and left for a distant country. Then it says there, undisciplined and dissipated, he wasted everything he had. After he had gone through all his money, there was a bad famine all through that country, and he began to hurt. Keep going.
And he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country.
Yes.
Who sent him to his fields to feed pigs.
Yes.
He longed to feel
stop. He's young, with an inheritance, wants to experience the world.
Wow.
He goes to a distant country so that y'all don't get to see what I'm doing.
Wow.
Y'all don't get to see how I'm living.
My God.
And he gets there and spends everything he has. I imagine in my head that they're Vegas of their day, that they're Monte Carlo of their day. I can imagine him saying, I want to get those honeys. If that's what he was into. If he wasn't into honeys, he's getting something else. And he was popping bottles. And he was having whoever he had. Listen, how much you cost a night? How much you cost a night? I got that cash. And I can imagine him at strip clubs. And I imagine him in my mind being the roller and renting big cars and getting people to drive him around. And I can imagine, because he's young and he's untrained and he's undisciplined, with a crave to learn, with a crave to expand his understanding. And in this, what's interesting in this, I like the fact that, not that it's good, but he goes away where they can't see him. He runs out of money after running through whatever he ran through, right? And then now he realizes that I'm broke. A famine hits. what's interesting is, and I think I should make this point of observation, that sometimes the truth of the matter is we really don't find out who we are until we hit famine. Sometimes the truth of the matter is we really don't know what we're made of until need becomes a necessity. Until it's essential. Some of us right now didn't know how good we can save until we got into pandemic. We didn't know how much we can stretch a meal until we got into pandemic. We didn't realize that even if I didn't have Clorox, we didn't think we'd never ever have a day where we couldn't get no Clorox wipes. Or now we've become innovative and we get baby wipes and we pour some Clorox on the. We like the lady with a little bit of oil, and we pour in that little bit of Clorox into that baby wipe, so we're turning baby wipes into Clorox wipes, because right now there has been famine. It's been such a famine with Clorox that they even said they ain't even sure they're gonna be able to catch up until next year.
Wow.
I believe it's 2021. Wow. So the truth of the matter is, we really learn and see who and what we are when we hit a place of famine, or hit famine, or famine comes near us, or terror comes near us. Some people didn't even know they can pray so hard until they hit this pandemic.
Yeah.
People who ain't never prayed. People who ain't never tried to go to church. People who ain't never said they ain't never had faith in God. And all the other times you put up strippers all year long and money and liquor, and now you putting up scriptures. Because now you're trying to remember everything you learned in Sunday school 30 years ago, because we're trying to reach for something so that I can find help and assistance. So it's in famine sometimes that we really find out who we are. I see there's another famine in the Bible, and I remember with Naomi, is it Naomi and Ruth, and Naomi and her two daughters-in-law. We find in that moment that we find out who has stick-to-itness and who doesn't. We see who can carry a mantle and who doesn't. That we don't always talk about Ruth and Naomi in that story as in terms of mantles, but the truth of the matter, we can learn a lot there, just like with Elijah and Elisha, because she gives them an out. She realizes, my sons are dead, my husband is dead, I have no inheritance for you. This is her saying to them, Naomi is like, I have no inheritance for you. I have nothing to give you. Y'all might as well go off, and it's famine, and listen, go live your best life, go do what you do. One of the daughter-in-law left. The other one said, nuh-uh, I'm not leaving you. I'm going to stay with you. And we watched it. That's the daughter-in-law that brings wealth into their family.
Wow. Yeah.
It's through her that we begin to learn the story about everybody was talking about Boaz. That's how she got Boaz, because she waited and she followed. And so we find out whether in the time of need and the time of famine, we also find out what we're made out of when we got money. Let me touch that too. It wasn't until he got that money that he found out that, I can be a pimp. It wasn't until he got the money that, I can be a drunkard. It wasn't until he got the money that I can snort cocaine. There's some of us that had got access and got much, and we didn't use it well. So it's these two extremes that begins to teach us and show us who and what we really are. And sometimes it helps us to get a window on where I really need to be delivered.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a scripture, I believe, in Proverbs. I think this is where it is. And I didn't plan to mention this, but there's a scripture in Proverbs, I believe, and it says, I don't want to be too rich, and I'm paraphrasing, and I don't want to be too poor. I want to have just enough that I don't lean unto evil. I want to have enough so I don't want more, too much that it causes me to be inflated. It causes me to think I'm better than others. I don't want too much where I become proud and feel like I don't need to call on God. But neither do I want to be poor and abased to the point that I become a thief, that I become a liar, that I cheat on my taxes, that I put kids on my income tax that don't belong to me. They didn't come from my loins. I'm claiming people who sit in nursing homes that ain't mine. I'm just claiming my dog, getting my dog and my cat social security numbers so I can claim somebody.
Yeah.
So God, let me have more. Let me have just enough.
Claim Jesus. Come on.
Somebody said claim Jesus. My God. Let's see how that go. You gonna tell them when they come to get you and take you in chains? He said just call them up and tell them what you want. Listen. But this is the thing. we learn some things about ourselves. So we're watching these extremes. We look at Mephibosheth, who has right to riches, but as a result of his father and his grandfather committing suicide, he is now locked out of those riches. He's hiding in a place called Lodabar. He's hiding in a place called Lodabar, which is like a province or a suburb of or subdivision of Gilead. A lot of people know Gilead because we know the song and the scriptures that lead and allude to the balm that comes from Gilead. That mixture that then brought healing to people. The balm in Gilead, there is a balm in Gilead, there is a balm in, y'all know the song. And so this is in that region. Lodabar, this place called Lodabar means no pasture, or represents no pasture. It represents there's nothing that I can graze on. There's nothing here enough to eat for me to get better. Wow. There's nothing here. There is no greenery. The ceiling is on this place. We don't break out of here. We get stuck here. People get here. They born here. They die here. There's no pasture. And then another thing that it represents is no communication. That's another definition for Lodabar. There's no communication. So now I'm cut off from access. I'm marginalized by just this region. I'm limited at what can come in because there's no way for me to talk really to the outside world, so to speak. So now not only can I not grow because of what's here, then I can't even grow past this point because I can't communicate. I can't have a conversation, or you get it. I can't have the conversations I need to have outside of the space. Another definition for Lodabar is no word. So in Lodabar, there is no word. There's no word in Lodabar. There's no active. People will perish for lack of knowledge. But where there is no vision, people perish because there's no vision. Vision represents word as well. And so people don't have word. People don't have access to word and concept and information and education. People die. Poverty really comes from a lot of things, but poverty, the only way to break it is through education. So now this young man, who technically is the prince, he is technically supposed to be the king. He is technically supposed to be, but he's living in a place with no pasture, no communication, and no word.
Wow.
It's on him and in him to be great. But where he's located, there's no word to get out.
Help us.
Jesus.
Who do I communicate with my broken legs? And remember, I didn't get this way by myself.
Right.
So I'm in a place that I didn't get in by myself. I had help getting here. And now there's no information or access to get me out of here. What adds insult to injury is that I am in one of the suburbs of a region known for healing.
My God.
I'm living in the territory where people exchange the balm of Gilead, but yet this balm can't heal me. Man. What?
Still broken. Wow.
They are selling what theoretically I need.
Wow.
I need healing. They're selling healing, but what they're selling can't heal me.
My God.
Wait a minute.
Could that be the church? Come on.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mephibosheth, you telling me that you a prince? You can't be a prince. Look who you live with. No, I know this is who my father was. This is what, so now you living off of a memory of something that should have been.
Wow.
No word, no communication, no pasture. What's crazy is that this is sometimes how church has been, unfortunately, for some people. Full of leaves, but no fruit.
Help us.
This is sometimes how our relationship with God has been. Full of leaves, but no fruit. This is sometimes how relationships in our life have been. No pasture, no communication, no word. Full of leaves, but no fruit. And so then what makes it worse is, let's talk for a minute. Have you ever come to church and felt distant in church, but maybe felt close to God at home? You ever came to church and sat in service and felt like everything being said wasn't even for you? Maybe you never went through that kind of psychological warfare where while you're sitting in church you can hear the enemy saying, they saying that, they preaching that, but you'll never get it. There's mercy for people, but you'll never have mercy. I don't know if you've ever gotten there yet. I don't know if you've gotten to the place where you're craving for God and you know you need God. You are in a distant country broke. Truth of the matter, God, I realize that now this is the thing. This is the part that gets interesting, because when I begin to, I can only go but so long and blame other people for where I am.
Yes, sir. That's good. That's good.
At some point, I'm going to have to take authority over this lack. I'm going to have to take authority over my pain. At some point, I'm going to have to jump in and say, even though I know I didn't get here by myself, it's up to me now to get me out. It's up to me now to break this curse. It's up to me. It is up to me to, some of you today is a day of freedom right now, because you've been waiting for somebody to come pick you up, throw you in a pool, pick you up, pray. Why they can't pick me up in the spirit? Well, when you were doing what you were doing in your distant country, you didn't want nobody to pick you up. That's why you went there.
Wow.
So now we off because we can't track you. You took your tracker out. Why are you mad at us, Dad? Listen, you took your tracker out. You said I don't want to follow. And so now you come to church and you're like, they didn't pick me up in the spirit. Well, you didn't want us to.
Wow.
See, y'all weren't ready for that. I know.
Wow.
See, people don't want to. That was good, Pastor Lawrence? Did I say it again? I'm going to say it one more time because Pastor Lawrence went behind his mask. I've heard people indict me and other people. Well, they didn't pick me up. If they all prophets and prophetic, they should feel me. Well, when you were sexing last week, you know, at 12:01, and you weren't thinking about us, you didn't want nobody to track you. Now you want to be trackable? And see, this is what we do. We want to be trackable when we want to be trackable. We want to be caught and found when we want to be. This don't work like that. Come on. This is not about that. We're fickle.
That was good. Fickle.
All right, y'all know y'all like what? See, the good thing about finding ourselves, and I got a few more minutes left, you got to stop lying to yourself to find yourself.
Wow, that's good, sir. That's good.
You got to stop lying to yourself so that you can find yourself. You're going to have to really be honest and say, I is a liar. I'm a good liar. I'm just a liar. I just lie. I just lie all the time. You just have to be honest and say, I'm a hater and I'm jealous of other people.
Yes, help me, Jesus.
I'm just jealous. I'm jealous. I don't want them to have more than me because I think that I deserve what they got. You know, since she don't need to have no man look good like that. Look at her. Do your hair. You know, or look at, oh my goodness, I can't believe this dude got this pretty girlfriend. Like he missing 3 teeth.
That's what they say.
Like, yo, how she banging. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. I want to,
Before.
And we look and we judge and we covet. And we get to we think we get to say what people should and should not have. It's unfortunate because we've created these spaces. And then in these spaces, we get to start to find out, and I'm using it, these are really interesting contrasts, and I never saw this until today. That we have 2 young men, one who both are technically very wealthy. One can't get their inheritance because they're in hiding because they don't want to be killed. The other one realizes he has privilege, and so he takes his, asks for where the request is, gets it, and goes to a place on his own. He's distant and chooses it. The other one is distant and had no choice.
Mm.
I only got about 10 more minutes left, so I can't mess with that. Both wealthy, both in distant countries. One has a choice, one doesn't. I'm going to show you something about Mephibosheth that I think this is so interesting, and I want to go back to this. Is sometimes we can be in the presence of the Lord and still not change. And I said it before. Is that Satan is a great teacher for this. He's a great model that it is possible to live in the land called Gilead and still not be healed. It is possible to be a covering spirit and a covering angel in heaven and still not let my heart be changed. This is possible. It's scary. It's really scary. Because there's a lot of people that go to church, ain't gonna make it. Because it's in here. See, we look at symptoms. We don't really know, and that's why God got to look at the heart. He can't go based on how we feel about people.
That's good.
Because the young lady or the young man that you know is a little whore, they probably gonna make it in. And you testifying every week and spitting on us like I'm spitting on this iPad. And may not make it because you self-righteous. You didn't realize they were crying out to God, woe is me.
Wow.
I'm a man of unclean lips. I'm a man of broken legs. God, I'm still living through the remnants of late station. I'm still coming out of the remnants of rape.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm not a whore by myself. I didn't get here by myself.
Yeah.
But then this is where we learn. Now I have to stop lying to myself and say, you know what? I got a problem. This problem may not really be sex. The problem may be that I'm broken. I feel rejected. I feel this. So let me get to these chiefs and learn these chiefs and then evict these chiefs. And so he goes on to say, and we look at Mephibosheth living in a place where I should be able to get healing. But my brokenness is past what this balm can do. Ain't you grateful that we don't have to go into the earth and get sage and mix it? Y'all, some of y'all do that stuff. You better stop it. Acting like a little witch. Stop it, little warlock. Stop that.
That's right. Say more to say.
Let's mix this. Let me take the sage. You guys saw. I won't say his name. Is a very well-known singer, and I saw him when I was on Instagram one day, and I saw him taking his sage and putting like cleansing him. That you need the blood of Jesus. Atmosphere. Well, you better start with the blood of Jesus.
For real.
That tree can't do nothing. You welcome him now. You welcome him a few things in, but ain't nothing leaving. I just feel like the energy shifted. Sure did. Because another power came. And it wasn't God.
Wow.
That's good. That's good.
So y'all stop doing this stuff, mixing these things, talking about my grandmother told me to get a piece of her hair or a piece of his hair and bury it underneath the ground. Some of y'all don't even live where you got no land and you taking flower pots and you putting people's stuff. Oh, I'm gonna take their straw and I'm gonna cut it, put it underneath the person choking and dying. The blood of Jesus. This is not the behavior of saints. I'm off for a minute, but somebody need to. That must be for somebody.
Right, Bishop. A lot of people doing it.
Y'all stop mixing. And so we see something here that I'm grateful that Jesus became our balm in Gilead because he heals all manner of disease. He heals all manner of sickness, but Mephibosheth is not privy to this at the moment. As I close with this, and we'll pick it up next week, look at this. The knowing of who he thought he was. He knew all along that I'm a prince. But I can't get to what belongs to me because I'm afraid to be dead. And there's no word, there's no communication, no pasture. I'm going to tell you something about walking out our course. When we do our courses and the things that God have called us to do and walk out in love, and walk out this salvation, God will let them find you.
Yeah.
Somebody should receive that today. Somebody that feels like God is overlooking you, you just keep living for God. He gonna let him find you. You keep doing what you know is right. God's gonna... Mephibosheth, nothing in this scripture, and when you go back to 2 Samuel chapter 4, it doesn't show you that he prays. He's not putting himself on Facebook. There ain't no Facebook. Because remember, they ain't even on communication, so who he going to reach out to? Because they, can you get a word to the king? Because he's afraid that the king find out I'm alive, he going to kill me.
Wow.
God will put you on somebody's heart to get you out of where you are. I don't know who, how many people that right there is for.
Yes.
But there's somebody here that's watching that thinks you're going to do it in your own power. And so your own power is going to get you in trouble. And you're going to have to lean on scriptures like it's not by might, not by my power, but it's going to be by God's Spirit visiting somebody in a dream. It's going to be by God's Spirit that I can do what God told me to do, and they'll find me. It's going to be my consistency in whatever God told me to do. Well, God, how are they going to find me if I don't get on Facebook every day? It's all right. I was able to get this man out of Lodabar, where there's no word, no communication, no pastor, and put him before king.
My God.
I'll make the room. That's what God says. I'll make the room for you. You ain't got to be showy. You ain't got to slice nobody's throat. You ain't get sliced throat in the kingdom of God.
Jesus.
Well, let me change that. Let me change that. Well, it's still the kingdom of God, so I can't change it. I'm going to try to clean that up. But ain't no way to clean it up because we in the kingdom of God. Some of us still got the ways of the world in us. The musicians selling out the praise and worship leader. The praise and leader selling out the usher. The deacon selling out everybody.
Deacons don't play.
Because deacons going to have their way. Well, some deacons. But God can get you to where you need to be, even where there's no communication.
That's good.
So what he's saying, Pastor, that the key is be faithful.
That's good. That's good.
Over little.
My God.
The key is, even when I don't understand, do what I know he said. Some of y'all, it's as simple as just live.
Just live. Just live.
Just stay alive long enough for me to show up. That's all. That's it. That's all you got to do. So all you got to do is just stay alive long enough for me to bless you.
Stay alive.
Mephibosheth doesn't pray. We don't see a prayer, rather. We don't see a prayer. I'll say that. I won't say he didn't pray. Let me say we don't see a prayer. We don't see a worship. We don't see her running around the church. He stayed still. Even when he felt like he wasn't being healed. Sometimes people use this for, and I know I'm going to go get in trouble. I'm not going to get in trouble. But I may make somebody mad that watch this. Sometimes people say things like, my season here or there is over. And they most times they out of order. Most times. 97% of the people that I hear say that are out of order. 90%. There's a few that are in order when they say it, and it's a very small margin. But I look at this with Mephibosheth because he realizes that there's no communication, there's no pasture, there's no word. But I'm going to build right here until God does something else. And watch this. The call comes from the king. And guess what? That call comes with assistance.
My God.
It comes with kindness. I don't know who in the world this is for today. I just like somebody that's watching or will watch this that needs to hear the Lord say to you, just be still.
Wow.
Just do what I told you to do. Don't put your own spin on it.
Yes, Lord.
Don't add your own seasonings to it. Just stay still even though you feel that there's no production.
My God. Hallelujah.
Just do what you know that I told you to do.
That's good. That's
Even
good.
though you don't feel like nothing's being produced out of it.
That's good.
Just stay still. Don't be anxious like this rich young ruler because you got something, because you have a dream, because your time gonna come.
Yes, Lord.
He goes and spends all he has, and now he's playing with pigs, working with pigs.
Wow.
Then there's a version or two that says, but then he came to himself. Unfortunately, there's some people watching. You're already on that side. You're already in the pig's pit. You're already in pig relationships with piglets. With Miss what? It's true. There were piglets in there. You're already in it. Move before your time.
Wow.
Did that before you knew it was God. This young man, the urchin ruler, moves out of emotion. He moves out of thinking that there's something better than God. Man, okay, I know that's not, y'all like, what? Because when we start doing what, we think that, God, you don't really know. I told you, like, when cooking, like, God, you're like, okay, put that, do that. Like, there's something better. There's nothing better than Jesus.
Nothing better than Jesus.
I'm not saying that fanatically. I done tasted and tried a few things. And they were good. And I ain't going to tell you how they're good. And my flesh remembers and like, don't you want to taste again? You just want a little sap, just a little sap. Why y'all laughing? Your church ain't never said they want to sip. Some of y'all want to gulp. As a matter of fact, give me the whole picture. I'll
Balance. God. I see you.
Y'all laughing, but it's the truth. Some of us like, no, God, a sip ain't enough. Turn your back, Jesus, I can finish the picture. Add some lemons and shit. Add some fruit to that, God. Oh, God. Ah! Why you gotta add fruit? Some of us are greedy. Some of us were greedy sinners. I just want one, God. Give me 2 or 3. We gonna do this. I didn't do it and remember. Because when I come out, I need something to live about. Listen, no, for real. Some of us, I ain't just fine with just no one gender. Give me another gender, and then they change the gender. I'll try that too, God. Just let us mix it up, Jesus. You know, no, y'all laughing. Y'all laughing. Y'all laughing. Y'all laughing, but you know it's true.
That's right.
I didn't have to say mix it up, Jesus.
Help us.
But when I see, no, y'all laughing. Y'all know it's true. Some of us wish we could have one more night with certain people. Matter of fact, give me 2 days, Lord. Just give me a trip. Y'all know how it is. I'm gonna tell you the truth. A lot of I ain't gonna tell you all my business. But there's a few times in my life, now I see people cry over people, I'll tell you that another day because we live and everybody can hear this. But let's take this, I'll tell you that another day and I'll seek it group. But let me say this, because they watching. Alright, so listen. No, but I will say this. I remember a few times in my life that I had the opportunity to go on vacations. And I remember like around the world. I'm not talking about like Virginia. I'm talking about like, you want to go to Germany? You want to go to France? I mean, like that kind of stuff. Like, let's go, baby. Let's go, boo. Let's go. Come on, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right? That kind of stuff. And I remember I used to be so afraid. I wanted to go, but I kept saying, he going to let me die. I said, this plane coming out this air. I just kept seeing the plane like Jonah, and I'm going to have to get a parachute. Well, now I'm giving you a better version of it. But I'm going to be like, that plane will be rocking, and I can imagine it be rocking on its way to France. And every bump, I'd be like, here he come. Because sometimes now I'd be like, is it time, Jesus? But I know then, if I got in that plane, and if I probably would have made it there, lived in sin and got back. But I've been trying to take, some of y'all take too many chances with God. I wouldn't get on the plane. I wouldn't. And I'll tell you, I've been invited on a cruise by a secret admirer at one time. Some of y'all ain't even got no cruise from your boo. But I'll never forget. Let's go on a cruise to here. Let's go do that. Let's go. And it sounds good to the flesh because the flesh like, yeah, feed me. I'll do a little trick for that. And it's that you have to choose him. So when I was saying stuff to y'all about choosing God, I really mean it. Like, I know for real. Yeah. Like, for real, like, I'm not just saying this stuff to you. I understand what it feels like to put me in another country so I can kiss up and lick up and nobody can't see. Take your trackers off. I want other prophets by me in spirit. I know. All right, for these next 36 hours, I'm going to lock up in this room. And what happens in this room stays in this room. And that room can be right, Queens. That room can be 3 minutes away from your house. What happens in this room stays in this room. And that behavior only leads to slop.
That's good.
That behavior leads to tending pigs and almost eating their food. That kind of behavior leads to confusion. Some of y'all were, to be honest, when you came out of that indecisive place with God, that by the time you really start to get your mind together, it's so hard. Okay, you ain't got to say amen, but I know it's true. That when you finally say, okay, I'm going to really serve God, it's like in everybody and everything that ever wanted to kiss you, hug you, take you out to eat, you want a pizza? I want a pizza, but can't go with you. So you got to get to that place. Because when you start to realize there's nothing this world has for me. There's nothing, when you got to get to that, that's hard. It's not an easy course, but he got to, and so this rich young ruler has to realize ain't nothing in this earth for me. This earth gonna pass away. And so is the person with the cute body. All it takes is cancer. Hit that body, it's out of here.
Wow.
All it takes is COVID to hit that body, and it could be out of here. All it takes is HIV to hit the. And so when you start to realize that all of this earth will pass away, and all the stuff of the earth, it starts to put you at another realm of things. See, and I can only talk like this now because of coming through certain courses, and I'm still in courses relearning some stuff. Like, all right, you keep tied onto this world gonna fade. Heaven and earth gonna fade away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make all of this over and new. This earth going away. This gonna fade. And so when we really start to evaluate that and say, how much energy do I put into earthly things? That's that deeper level conversation. I can't finish this. I'm way over my time. I'm 10, 11 minutes over. But this is where we have to get to, Lord. Some of us haven't got to slop yet. And I want to stop you right now and say to you, let your Father guide your life. Don't be distracted by what you think is over there. Don't be distracted by what you think. God, I know that what you have for me is better than the thing I crave. I know your inheritance from me is greater than the desires of this flesh of mine. And this is not easy. And it takes the Holy Ghost. It really does. It takes God to help us do this. You and I cannot do this by ourselves. You need God. I need God to help us, to help me to do it. You need God. The day that you think it's you, you're going to fall. You're going to fall. Hear me. You're going to fall. You're going to fall. The day that you think that you're strong enough, that's the day you fall. And just look for it. Just look for the hole. Because look for the hole in the ground, and you're going to fall in it. The day that you think that you have passed it. No, none of us are past falling. None of us are past iniquity. None of us. And this is why God, this is why we got to be hidden in Him.
Hidden. That's good, sir.
So even though Mephibosheth, like you see him going between two stories, I'll stop here. We'll pick it up next week. Even though Mephibosheth is broken, he's hidden properly. Now that's another.
Come on, Bishop.
Property in the abstract is what belongs to one.
He
with
is.
something, whether it's an attribute.
He is. All right, Siri, don't do that. We live. Even though Mephibosheth is broken and lame, he's hidden well. Can I say that 2 more times?
Come on, Bishop.
He lives in a place, no pasture, no communication, no word. It's a subdivision to a place where healing is available. It just ain't for him. Can I say something real big that church saints don't like to say? All of us won't be healed.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
That's true.
Uh-oh. Can I be honest? Everybody that's sick and love Jesus will not be healed of their sickness.
That's true.
Everybody that says, Lord, heal me, that disease ain't coming out of everybody's body.
Yeah. That's true.
Everybody that says, Lord, heal me from cancer, will not be healed from cancer in this earth. Pastor Jason, I don't like this message no more. I don't like this no more. Because you telling me, by his stripes I am healed. The blood of Jesus is what you're saying. But guess what? This is that I got to not lie to myself. What I have to do is submit to God's sovereignty.
That's good.
I know people, we don't like that kind of stuff. You don't like it? You want me to tell you the truth? Because what we try to do is make people feel bad because they're sick and serve God.
Wow.
Well, you must not be praying hard enough, Job. You got all these boils and they popping. Ugh. You must not be praying hard enough. You would be delivered by now.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Wow.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, that's a good word. My God.
If you pray harder, he'll free you from it. He'll take it away. You ain't really serious about him.
My God.
I've heard people say this to people. I've heard people say this to me.
My God.
The truth of the matter, and this is when we're coming to ourselves, these are the realities we have to live with. Now watch this. Man, God, this is good, Lord. Because I ain't even, Lord, I'm going to tell you the truth. I didn't know we were going to do all of this part. They must be pulling God because this wasn't even part of what I was going to say, Lord. You know what I just saw when I said that? You know what the Lord just showed me just now? When I made that statement. He goes to show me, he said, Jason, the young man was willing to go back home and be lesser than what he was. It was just the fact that he was home. And you're like, what, Pastor Jason? No. Ride this boat with me. There's some of us, our safety is in the fact that we're home as a Christian. That we are hidden under the banner of the blood.
Jesus.
And so even though I'll still have the memories, even though I may still have the scar from when I fell off the balcony at the hotel, the truth of the matter is I have scars, but I'm home. Mephibosheth gets not only all get to sit at the table and eat. God, you preaching good. You preaching good, God. This ain't all in, God. Ain't on the same God. You better preach, God. Preach, Lord. He better preach. This ain't on this paper. Nobody just showed me just now. Jason. Mephibosheth, it wasn't just about him getting to the table to eat. It was he was going to get, when you read it, he gets all the property of his father and grandfather. And then David appoints one of Saul's old advisors, right, to now, one of the people that worked for Saul, to now, I want you and your family and your servants go serve the broken boy.
Wow. Wow. Still broken.
So there's some of us that think that we can't serve God with scars. Or we can't preach with brokenness.
That's good right there, sir.
Somebody just needs to be honest. Now, and you may say, now this ain't telling people stay broken. What it's saying is that I keep moving until he heals me.
Woo! Hallelujah!
What it says is I don't get to choose where I stay. I keep going, and when he said, now I heal you here.
Woo!
I get healed and keep going. But there's some things he may say, you'll live with this.
Yes, Lord.
I'll never let you come out of. You will always
God.
deal with that.
My
You,
God.
there's some of you. I'm gonna be honest. You may battle depression until Jesus comes.
My God.
But his thing is, I'll teach you the battle.
Jesus,
Wow.
come on.
And so, see what you're saying to us, Pastor Jason. What are you saying to us? I'm calling you out of fantasy world.
Jesus.
Wow. The reality.
Today, I'm calling you out of hocus pocus Jesus into real Jesus that says you're a powerful prophet, Elisha, but you'll die with your sickness.
Wow.
Woo. Jesus.
Woo!
Come on.
My
Bishop.
God.
Come on.
You're a powerful preacher, John.
My God.
Thank you for your service to my kingdom, but I'm going to still let that king's daughter
Wow.
have your head.
My
Wow.
God.
This ain't no fantasy Christian.
Jesus.
Christianity. This is you have your sovereign way in my life.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. Trust this process. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means all the time. But you have your sovereign way in me.
My God.
See, when we start talking, I'm over time. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm over time today.
My God.
And this is why we can't get lifted up in ourselves, because I don't know, and I don't know what he's always doing, but I know I'm in the house.
My God.
So we see these. I never seen this like this until today, ever. I mean, some of this, I'm just right now. He preaching. So whether I'm like the rich young ruler returning home with possible scars, but a whole lot of memories, or if I'm Mephibosheth that did nothing to get me this way, broken in a place where I can't even communicate, I have no word, I have no pasture, living in a land where healing is available, but it's not for me. In both circumstances, it doesn't matter. We watch the sovereignty of God bring them both home.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't care where you are. I don't care what angle you look at your life.
Yes. Jesus.
If you do the will of God,
My God.
and watch this. Some people might not like this truth too, but some people's a mess up. You're not gonna like this. Taught them something on their course.
That's true.
That's it.
Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Some of our stupidity brought us later deliverances.
Yeah, it's true. Sure did. He did.
We did some dumb stuff
Dumb.
and then got a revelation.
Lord
Wow.
knows.
Sometimes a great revelation could come from something stupid.
Something dumb.
He'll take the foolishness to confound the wise.
That's it.